Defender was a huge arcade hit in 1981 and was ported to the Atari 2600 a year later. It goes without saying that it's impossible for the 2600 version to live up to the standards of the arcade version. It's how it always is with these ports. But even though this goes without saying, the manual comes right out and says it, pointing out all the differences, almost like a disclaimer. Warning, this is not as good as the arcade version, but I promise it's still good. I don't know if I've ever seen this before. Of course, if you're reading this, you've already bought the fucking game, and it's a little late to turn back now. You play as, essentially, Earth's last line of defense as alien invaders swarm in to take over the planet. Your job is to wipe out these invaders and rescue the humanoids who the aliens try to kidnap. You technically don't have to rescue them though, as they simply equate to bonus points at the end of each wave. The game doesn't end until you lose all your lives. A cool thing about Defender is that you can scroll to the left or the right of the screen. You'll loop back around the other side. This change of direction is useful for pursuing the assholes that are threatening to steal a humanoid. You can look at the map or a scanner at the top of the screen to guide you in the direction of this misdeed. But it flickers quite a bit and can make it difficult to navigate yourself. Personally, I don't get too hung up on this shit, so I just simply fly around and blast everything in sight. In fact, you can wipe out everything on the screen with smart bombs by hiding yourself behind the city at the bottom of the screen and pressing the fire button. Comes in handy if you've got a lot of shit in front of you that you need to get rid of. But you only have 3 to start with. You get an additional one for every 10,000 points, as well as an extra life. You can also do what's called a hyperspace time warp, which will teleport you to a random spot of the map if you head off screen by going up and then hitting the fire button. This only makes sense if you're cornered and there's nowhere to go besides up and off the screen, because you could find yourself being randomly teleported right into a goddamn alien. Overall though, while the game does resemble its arcade port, it is a bit rough around the edges. The control is manageable, but nowhere near as smooth as it should be, and all the flickering has the potential to give you a frickin' seizure. The limitations of the joystick only having the one button make the whole smart bomb and time warp features awkward to trigger, but at least you've got some special weapons. If you don't like it, just don't use it. At the end of the day, this port doesn't live up to the standard of the classic arcade version, but it doesn't completely butcher it either. I think people tend to hate on this port because of those expectations, but if you're able to separate it from the Defender namesake and look at the game for what it is, then you'll see it as another average space shooter amongst many other average space shooters.
Right.